Hi everyone, this is Cody at Lambda, and in this video I will be covering the cloud-init feature of the Lambda Cloud API. I'll be demonstrating how to use the cloud-init feature to first add additional SSH keys to the default Ubuntu user, and second, I will show how to add additional users to an on-demand instance upon launching the instance. So for this video, I've created two scripts already. The first one I'll demonstrate is adding additional SSH keys to the Ubuntu user. So in my script, I have the launch endpoint of the Lambda Cloud API set, and I have my Cloud API key set as an environment variable. I'll be starting an instance in region US East 3. The instance I will be launching is a GH200. I've specified my default SSH key. I'll be naming my instance cloud-init testing. And on this line is what will be used to demonstrate the cloud-init feature. And the contents of this file I'll be showing in a second, but for this example, what I'm showing is retrieving the necessary user data from a web server. For this example, I'm using a GitHub gist. With this command, I'm showing the contents of the user data file, which is used for cloud-init. And what this shows right here is I'm adding these additional SSH keys to the Ubuntu user. So I'll run my script. So what's displayed on my screen now is the instance ID of the instance I just launched. And to learn more about what this means and how to use the Lambda Cloud API, you can just check out our documentation. What I see in my cloud dashboard right now is my instance launching. So currently it's showing as booting, but in a few minutes it'll show as running. You can also see the status of an on-demand instance using the instances endpoint of the Lambda Cloud API. And once the instance is finished booting, I'll be able to check that the additional SSH keys were added by checking the authorized keys file in the .ssh directory. So now I see in the cloud dashboard that my instance has launched. So I'll SSH into my instance, and like I mentioned a moment ago, I'll be able to check that the additional SSH keys were added by checking the authorized keys file. And what I see is I have 3 keys. Next, I'm going to demonstrate launching an instance with additional users. So I'll exit out of this instance and I'll run the other script that I created for this video, named launch instance-additional user.sh. And the script is basically the same as the previous script that I showed, but for the user data, this time I'm specifying the configuration directly as user data, whereas in the previous script I was retrieving the user data from a web server. So what I have for user data is an additional user named Cody. I have the password locked because we're allowing only SSH key authentication to log into the instance. I'm setting the shell as bash, and I'm importing my SSH key for this user from GitHub, and I'm specifying my GitHub username right here. So I'll run this script to launch a new instance, and in a few minutes I'll have a new instance that we'll check out. Okay, I'm seeing now in my cloud dashboard that the instance has launched. So I'll SSH into the instance, and what I expect to see is an additional user created named Cody. And that's what I see here at the last line is the user created Cody. So I'll make sure that the Cody user is configured properly by running sudo su Cody. So now I've become the user Cody, and I can make sure that the SSH key is properly configured by running this command. And what I see is that my SSH key has been successfully imported from GitHub. So that's how you use the cloud-init feature of the Cloud API to add additional SSH keys to the Ubuntu user, as well as create additional users upon launch of an on-demand instance. Thank you for watching this video, and if you want to learn more about using the Lambda Cloud API or using the cloud-init feature, be sure to check out our documentation.